I don't wear it. Thank you. Mayapur TV. Yeah. It may be some problem with the Mayapur TV. I don't know. Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Paprikacharya, Satarasada, Shishimada's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsko Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai. Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopanath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shishi, Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 48, and this is text number 9. Sahoshyatam iha preshta dinani katichinmaya ramasva notsahe tyaktum sangam tame buru hekshana Sahosyatam iha preshta dinani katichinmaya ramasva notsahe tyaktum sangam tame buru hekshana Sahosyatam iha preshta Dinani kati chinmaya Ramasva notsahe tyaktum Sangam tame buru hekshana Sahosyatam saheshta Dinani kati chinmaya Rahasva notsahe tyaktum Sangam tain buru hekshana Sahosyatam miha preshta Dinani kati chinmaya Ramasva sahaktam Sangham tame buru hekshana Sahosyatam miha preshta Dinani kati chinmaya Ramasva notsahe tyaktum Sambuntain buru hekshana. Very good. Anyone else? Ladies? Saha, together. Uchyatam, please stay. Iha, here. Preshta, O beloved. Dinani, days. Katichit, some. Maya, with me. Ramasva, please take pleasure. Na utsahe, I cannot tolerate. Tyaktum, giving up. Sangam, association. Te, your. Ambruhu ha ikshana. O lotus-eyed one. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Trivakra said, O beloved, please stay here with me for a few days more and enjoy. I cannot bear to give up your association, O lotus-eyed one. Please repeat. Trivakra said, O beloved, please stay here with me for a few days more and enjoy. I cannot bear to give up your association, O lotus-eyed one. Purport. The word ambu means water and ruha means rising. Thus, amburuha means the lotus flower which rises up from the water. Lord Krishna is called Amburu Hekshana, the lotus-eyed one. He is the source and embodiment of all beauty, and naturally Trivakra was attracted to him. However, the Lord's beauty is spiritual and pure, and his intention was not to gratify himself with Trivakra, but rather to bring her to the point of pure spiritual existence, Krishna consciousness. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyanan Gyanan Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitangena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastai Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminitaramani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharni Nirvasesa Shunyavadi Prasachadeshtarni Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bebacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. There are two short tikas by the Goswamis, one by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and one by Jiva Goswami. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, stay in the inner chambers of my house for some days and do not go out. All arrangements have been made in this house for drinking and eating. These are two readings of Saha Utsyatam, stay with me, and Aho Utsyatam, oh please stay. And Jiva Goswami writes, another version has Sahosyatam, Saha Utsyatam. However, the previous verse already said that she asked. Thus, there would be unnecessary repetition of the words if this version is accepted. And now, it's like a little conversation between both Krishna and Trivakra here. The goal is stated, enjoy with me for a few days. Krishna says, but I have so many other engagements. But I cannot, and now Trivakra, but I cannot bear to give up your association. Wherever you go, I will go. Otherwise, I will give up my life. And Krishna says, why? O lotus-eyed one, I cannot give you up because all my senses are attracted to your supreme beauty and qualities. Let's rewind here really quickly and talk and read a quote from Srila Prabhupada. on why this movement is called the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Because as we see from these verses in the 10th canto, Krishna is more than God in a sense. I mean, the way people think of God. They think of God as far away, all-powerful, controlling everything, providing what I need. Someone who metes out punishment or gives rewards, but not a person with qualities that they can relate to because they don't know who he is. And this is prevalent everywhere in all religions. To some extent, there may be some knowledge. For the higher mystical seekers, you have these stories of St. John of the Cross or Teresa of Avila, where they had mystical visions. But they're really a small little segment of the larger group. Whereas we have real understanding of who God is. Prabhupada makes that very clear to us. So, I mean, when I joined the movement, before I joined the movement, I was getting the books, I used to always marvel at the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I kept thinking, that's an unusual way that the devotees, the Hare Krishnas, talk about God. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is how we really have to understand who Krishna is, because he is the original Adi Purusha. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karanam. This is the first verse of the Brahma Samhita, and it really is a distant view of Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna, there's no greater control than me. Satchidananda Vigraha, I am the source of all knowledge, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Anadir Adir Govinda, there's no cause to me, and Sarva Karna Karanam, and I cause everything. But who is that person who does all that? Well, Prabhupada, an interesting point he makes here in a class. And this is a story we've all heard to one degree or another. I mean, it's in the Prabhupada Leelamrita. But this is interesting how Prabhupada relates this story in this class. So this is a class given on the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse number 3, in London in March of 1975. And Prabhupada relates this story. When I was registering this association in New York, some friend suggested that why you are giving this name Krishna? Why not put God consciousness? Then I said, yes, I can give that name God consciousness, but then it will be confused because we want to preach Bhagavad Gita as it is. That is Krishna's speaking. And we are trying to place this Krishna teachings to the world. And not only that, Bhagavan, God, means Krishna. And if I give the name of God instead of Krishna, they will bring forth so many competitors of Krishna. That is not our purpose. Krishna means God. If God has any perfect name, that is Krishna, because Krishna means all attractive. So Trivakra is attracted to Krishna. He's all attractive. And then this is the very pertinent point here, probably even more pertinent, and we don't usually hear this. God cannot be attractive for a certain person. God cannot be Christian God or Hindu God or Muslim God. God is equally attractive for Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist. That is real God. And if Hindu has manufactured some God, or Christian has manufactured some God, that may be God partially, but not the supreme God. The supreme God is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. The supreme God is Krishna. This is who God really is. God is a person who has feelings, who has desires, he has opinions, and he loves his devotees. And the devotees are purified in the association of Krishna. And in fact, no one can associate with Krishna directly unless they are purified. So we should understand that Trivarkra, Kubja, she was purified from the very moment that she was straightened up in the earlier chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Krishna came into Mathura and he was greeted by different servants of Kamsa. Trivarkra, Kubja, was a hunchback woman who was taking ointments and unguents to serve Kamsa. And she, went out on a limb to give these unguents to Krishna, knowing that, Kamsa's not a nice person. If you give something to someone else that Kamsa's supposed to have, it may be the last thing you give to anybody, because Kamsa's not going to mess around. But she did that, and then he touched her and transformed her into a beautiful young woman. And at that point, she was purified. However, there were still residual feelings of what appears to be lust. It wasn't pure love. And that the purity, the actual purity, is now taken care of in these sets of verses where Trivarkra invites him over, and ostensibly outside, outside viewer who doesn't understand the Bhagavatam will say, oh, this looks like some sort of scene out of a movie that we could see. But it's not, because Krishna is actually giving Kubja the final purification, so that now she is on the platform of pure love, pure love, in the sense that she is relating to Krishna in a manner, it's not the same as the gopis, because the gopis are supremely, that's the supreme devotees, but this manner of having vipralamba, that love in separation, because Krishna is going to go away. Because he says, I've got a lot of other things to do. I can't stick around here. Be here. But she is going now to have this attachment in love, because there's two types of love for the pure devotees who are on the highest platform. It's vipralamba in separation and sambhoga in union. But vipralamba, that is considered even more relishable, because when one is like pining for one's lover or friend or son or daughter or whatever, that is a very intense mood. In the material world, it's not it is a mood of anxiety, because when the boy is off to war, the mother doesn't know whether he's actually going to be killed. But in the case of Krishna and his eternal associates, they know that Krishna is always there, and he will always be there. He will never meet a calamity. They may think as part of the Leela there's a calamity happening. I mean, Mother Yashoda fainted and was when she saw her son in the coils of Kaliya. Thank you. And she was going to jump in the water, and Balaram had a hold. No, you can't do that. And then he started his dance, and that was a different story. But this is Leela. And this Leela is meant to teach us how these devotees are loving Krishna, and how we can aspire to have that same love as we follow in the footsteps of the great acharyas of our movement, and Srila Prabhupada, who has directly given us this Krishna consciousness. There's interesting words here in the verse itself. Looking at the word here, Ramasva Notsahe Tyaktim Sangam, that Ramasva, please take pleasure. Utsahe, I cannot tolerate Tyaktum, giving up Sangam, association, te, your. I can't bear giving up this association. I want to take pleasure with you. But that pleasure for a pure devotee is not pleasure for me, it's I'm giving pleasure to you, Krishna. And then Krishna reciprocates by giving pleasure to the devotee. It's not self-centered like everything in this material world. In the spiritual world, everything has pure, there's no impure motive. In the material world, there's close to pure motive sometimes. The mother's love, Prabhupada said, is the closest thing to pure love. But later on, that love may become impure. And all the different loves, there may be moments of pure love, so-called pure love, but it never can stay. It's not stable. And in the spiritual world, it's absolute. Now, it's not just in the 10th canto that we hear about the attachment of devotees for Krishna and this mood of both vipralamba, separation, and sambhoga. If we go to the first canto of the Bhagavatam, the first canto, it's an interesting canto. It contains everything, really, that we need to know about Krishna consciousness. And it has a unique position within the Bhagavatam in the sense that in the 10th canto, it's all about Krishna. And in the 11th canto and the 12th canto, there's a lot of Krishna there. Krishna instructing Uddhava in the 11th canto, and then there's also the 12th canto, some direct presence of Krishna. But in the first canto, Krishna plays a large role in beginning about chapter 7 through 12, and then in 14. Anyway, he's present in the story. But from 2 to 9, Krishna is not directly present. There's Vishnu, there's Ram, there's Nrsingadev, there are sages. Krishna is referred to, but he's not an actor in those cantos. But he is an actor in the first canto, which makes the first canto a sort of sneak preview of the 10th canto. For those who, and it's very important because that gives us the basic structure of how we should understand the 10th canto. That's why, of course, we have to read things in order. It's called a kram. A kram means sequence. Chapters 10 and 11 of the first canto, the chapter 10 is where Krishna is leaving Hastinapur, and everyone is lamenting. And then chapter 11 is when he comes back to Dwarka, and everyone is happy. So we have the Vipralamba and the Sambhoga in these two chapters. But I'd like to look at the 10th chapter, 3 verses, because it describes much of what Trivarkra is feeling in a different setting. Because sometimes in the 10th canto, devotees can get hung up on the details of the story, which are like maybe a little too much to handle. They're very, very pure, and they're very confidential. But in the first canto, it's a little less confidential, but the same points are being made. So let's turn to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10, and this is verses 9 and 10. I'm just going to read the Sanskrit because it's mostly a list of names. So Krishna's leaving. He's leaving Hastinapur, and everybody is feeling some real remorse here. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakula, Sahadev, Bhimasen, Domya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Krishna. And it's the same thing that Kubja is saying. I can't bear it that you go away. How is this possible? And this is quite a wide array of persons here. Even persons who were not so friendly to Krishna, like Dhritarashtra. So they're all experiencing this separation. Now, Prabhupada writes here in the purport about this quality of sublime quality of the separation, of the feelings of separation in pure devotees. Lord Sri Krishna is so attractive for the living beings, especially for the devotees, that it is impossible for them to tolerate separation. It's impossible, yet it's still relishable. And Prabhupada goes on to say, the conditioned soul, under the spell of illusory energy, forgets the Lord. Otherwise, he cannot forget Krishna. So we're conditioned, we forget Krishna. Otherwise, we couldn't forget. We're the minority that have forgotten Krishna. The feeling of such separation cannot be described, but it can simply be imagined by devotees only. So this relationship that Trivakra has with Krishna here is so close, it's so intimate and so deep that the average person doesn't see it at all. They just see a story of a woman who's has a craving for a relationship with Krishna because he's so beautiful, and it's kind of like Romeo and Juliet or something. It's not. This is a deep, deep love, spiritual love that can simply be imagined by the devotee. We can simply, on our platform, we can simply imagine it, or we can hear about it, become purified by hearing, and then understand that we can't understand, because after all, these are feelings that we don't experience here in this material world. After his separation, Krishna's separation from Vrindavan, and the innocent rural cowherd boys, girls, ladies, and others, they all felt shock throughout their lives, and the separation of Radharani, the most beloved cowherd girl, is beyond expression. We can't even, we hear the words, we read the pastimes, but it's really beyond expression, which is to say that the only way that we really enter into real understanding is if we become really Krishna conscious, which is the process. It involves so many things: association with the devotees, worshiping the deity, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, but most importantly, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and living in a holy place. Forgot to mention that one. And we do live in a holy place here. We come here. This is a holy place. This is like when you're in India and you go to the American embassy. As soon as you step in the American embassy, it's like being in the USA. Everything's like, and so it's really like a little piece of America in India. Out there it's India, in here so out there it's the material world, but here it's a spiritual world. It's a spiritual world for everyone. We just don't, we see to the degree that we're surrendered or devoted. But even sometimes non-devotees come here and they go, wow, what a place. And they have some kind of feeling because it is so clear this is a spiritual world. So if we read on to the next couple verses, and I'll just read the translation of this one too. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become free from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. So, how do we understand the Lord? We understand the Lord in the association of pure devotees. And we give up bad association, which reminds us of Maya. So we see here how Krishna touches persons and they become Krishna conscious. We also hear how Lord Chaitanya would chant, and a person just seeing Lord Chaitanya and hear him chant would become Krishna conscious. Purified to the point of being pure devotees. So for us, we also, we touch Krishna. How? Through the association of pure devotees. And how did we get that association? Well, for us who are following Srila Prabhupada, we have his association through his books, through his tapes, through his letters, through audio, so many different things. And we have association with advanced Vaishnavas, who are gurus now or senior devotees, and even those devotees who sometimes appear to be junior. There are many young devotees in our movement who are like 25, 30, 40 years old, and they're far more advanced than me, They really are great devotees. And we should not say, oh, I am a Prabhupada disciple and you're a, No, actually, they may have been Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple, and they've taken birth in the movement now just to teach us. We have to understand who is it. Shukadev Goswami was 16 years old, and he was sky-clad. He wasn't a normal person. And all the great sages listened to him. So this is important to understand. We take the association from great devotees, no matter who they are or wherever they come from. But in our society, we have the anchor of Srila Prabhupada. And we understand everything through Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has given us the absolute truth in a way in which we can give it to everyone else. He spoke things so deep and so confidential in a way that was so accessible that even crazy hippies who were taking drugs became attracted. It's not usual that would happen. And in the purport here, part of this purport, it talks about the Pandavas, who were constant associates of the Lord. And it says, they could not even think of separation from Sri Krishna, since the attraction was more intense for them because of continuous personal contact. His remembrance by his form, quality, name, fame, pastimes, etc., is also attractive for the pure devotee, so much so that he forgets all forms, quality, name, fame, and activities of the mundane world. And due to his mature association with pure devotees, he is not out of contact with the Lord for a moment. So we can be in contact with Krishna at every moment by the association of pure devotees and the association of the holy name. And by association with the pure qualities of form, quality, names, fame, pastimes, we lose our attraction for the qualities, names, fame, and activities of the mundane world. Occasionally, and you can't avoid it, you see some story about somebody in Hollywood and some relationship, and it's so trivial and so stupid. And it's just it's just to sell more records or to make a person's movie, and this great relationship will be over in 6 months, and then there'll be another story on one of the tabloids. So this is not real. Real is Krishna. Real is being in association with Krishna. And that's what Prabhupada has provided us in ISKCON, is a place where we can serve and associate with Krishna and Krishna's devotees. This is Prabhupada's gift. Now, the final verse I'll read is 13, and this one is very sweet with Srila Prabhupada's purport. Sarve te nimishar akshais tam anu druta chetasa vikshanta sneha sambada vicheslus tatraha. All their hearts, this is all these devotees, were melting for him on the pot of attraction. They looked at him without blinking their eyes, and they moved hither and thither in perplexity. This echoes the gopis in 10th canto. This is the same mood, unblinking eyes. We curse Brahma for giving us eyelids. Being in perplexity. These are the sattvika bhavas and the anubhavas, the same thing. The same motions and feelings and activities are happening here. And now Prabhupada writes, Krishna is naturally attractive for all living beings because he is the chief eternal amongst all eternals. He alone is the maintainer of many eternals. Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, which is he's the eternal of the eternals and he's the sentient of the sentient. We are eternal and we have consciousness because Krishna is that person who gives everything eternity and consciousness. That is stated in the Katha Upanishad, and thus one can obtain permanent peace and prosperity by the revival of one's eternal relation with him, now forgotten under the spell of Maya, the illusory energy of the Lord. So, permanent peace and prosperity come when we revive our relationship with the Lord. And Jesus Christ said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added." So rather than try to add all things first, and then maybe at the end I'll get to heaven somehow or another, I need I need some kind of get out of jail card at the end of my life. Get out of hell card. Well, it doesn't work that way. I mean, it may work that way for somebody, but the real love for Krishna doesn't work that way. Once this relation is slightly revived, the conditioned soul at once becomes freed from the illusion of material energy and becomes mad after the association of the Lord. So we want to become mad after the association of the Lord. We want to become fully absorbed in reviving our relationship with Krishna. This association is made possible not only by personal contact with the Lord, which this is the example being given here in these verses. This is personal attachment to the Lord, but also by association with his name, fame, form, and quality. So we hear about him, his name. We chant his name. We hear about his fame. We hear about his form, his qualities, and we hear this not from some sort of academic person who's teaching it as some kind of, intellectual course. We hear it from someone who relishes these pastimes. And because they relish these pastimes, their bhava, or their mood, we can actually appreciate that. Even though we don't have it yet, we can appreciate theirs. Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to this stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotee. It's chanting Bhaktivinoda Thakur's bhajans. It's reading Srila Prabhupada's purports. It's relishing the bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur. It's reading Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, and hearing from someone who's actually experienced this in a mood of submission, that we actually are able to come to a point where these stories become relishable. And all these so-called inconsistencies or incompatibilities or this kind of things that the mind says to us, because we're conditioned to think of things in linear material terms, they just go. They're gone. And we enter into the real state of being, which is this eternal state of being with Krishna. Now, it's a long way off, but it's also close. If I could just chant pure japa today, I can be there. We can be there. So let's try to chant pure japa today. Let's try to focus on the things that are happening. When I read the Bhagavatam, I'm not reading just simply to learn something. I'm reading the Bhagavatam to associate with the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, and to hear the stories that he's relating to us. And in this way, our heart is filled with pure love. It may not be ours yet, but we're getting it from them, and that's the purpose of Prabhupada's mission, is to feed the devotees Krishna consciousness, and then we go out, like today we're going to go out into Hillsborough, and we're all going to be dancing and chanting and bringing Jagannath, and it'll be like nothing else they see there. Behind the fire truck and in front of the high school marching band, and there's Lord Jagannath. It's different than anything they see, and it's spiritual. And everything else of the high school marching band, Srila Prabhupada, there's Lord Jagannath. It's different than anything they see, and it's spiritual. And everything else is just mundane. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Tamaham Bhajamim Tamaham Bhajamim Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasnaya Mudalaya Vishnu Padaya Bhakti Vedantaya Samaniti Namante Bhakti Vedantaya Samaniti Namante Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacha Namaste Saraswati Devi Shunyavani Pachachaghare Satarine Shunyavani Pachachaghare Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Nirana Ramanityanaya Sri Krishna Dvaita Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Dvaita Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Dvaita Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda Goloka Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda Goloka Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Hey, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Hey, Jai Om Vishnupad.
Haribo. Hey.
Guru and Goranga,
Hey. Chaityanarpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Vanamita Swadanam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Kirtanam Namakari Bahuda Nijasarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smarane Nakala Etadvishida Shaktis Tatrapitaiva Midvishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinada Pisunichena Tarora Pisuvishuna Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Nasudarina Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamae Kirtaniya Sadahari Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Kavitam Va Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishname Bare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Pankaja Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Nayanam Galata Shudaraya Vadanam Gadgadaradaya Gira Gulakar Nishitam Vapukada Nayanam Grahane Vavishiti Yugayatam Nishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat-sarvam Yugayatam Rahinamena Ashlisha Vabadam Manastumam Adarshunam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatava Vidadhatu Lampatam Madpranatastu Sadevanapara Karotuva. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction of and because it spreads the rays of benediction repeated birth and death. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss because it and it enables us to only taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name and it enables us to render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies, and thus you have not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the devoid of all sense of false prestige. Oh, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. Oh, Almighty Lord, I have no cause this devotional service, birth after birth. Nor do I desire beautiful women, son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other, birth after birth. Oh, son of Maharaj, please pick me up from this ocean of death. I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other, oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with